Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TV&D. Good to see everybody. This is our show where we kind of mash up television and hopefully have a good time. I am your game master, Brian Miller, as always, with my co-hosts Carolyn Page, Eli Uden, and
Hello.
Tony Wilson. What's up, everybody?
Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Got my first dose of the cowardly, dastardly virus vaccine. I don't have it. I got the vaccine.
The health
Eli
juice.
Eli got the vaccine today. He got the 5G
Yes,
straight into his arm.
Today at 4 a.m. in the Bronx, which if you're not familiar with New York, is not a place you want to be at 4 a.m.
Also, no. The Bronx is nice, but parts of the Bronx are nice, but you're also in the farthest. You're the farthest away from the Bronx you could possibly be, basically, in New York.
Typically, I go for different types of needles when I'm there.
Yeah. That's what I was like, that was
Why is everyone dunking on the Bronx? It's a nice place.
Because it's the home of Yankee Stadium, and have you met those guys? Terrible.
Yeah, have you met the Yankees,
Fuck
Carolyn?
you, Yankees.
Have you met
Opening
all of
day,
the Yankees all at once?
Don't you live in Brooklyn? Yes, it's very far away. You know, the vaccine is free, but the lifts are not. That's how.
There's only one thing worse than the Bronx, and it's Yonkers, because it's further than the Bronx.
Shout out to Yonkers for being on all the tax forms all the time. Kitty!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Can we motion to, instead of playing D&D tonight, we just have Tony hold his cap to the camera? Is that possible?
It's a pretty big motion.
I'm covered in
Okay,
wounds.
fair enough.
That
Fair
will not
enough.
happen.
I thought I would just bring it up.
Back
Fair enough.
What are you talking about? No.
Real fast. Some
Parts
stuff
of the Bronx nice. The Bathgate post office not nice. So that's where we'll leave that. Sorry. Brian.
Segue to Brian's talking about.
All good. Some business we got to get out of the way. First and foremost, hello to everyone watching in the future on YouTube. Hey, maybe make sure to subscribe to us there. And if you're watching live right now, hello. We have some toys that you can play with in exchange for bits. Eli, could you explain those?
Yeah. Much like a cat, there's toys for you. Shiny things.
I'm so close to pulling out my bedside vibrator right now on camera, but I won't, out of respect.
I would say that's an overreaction. Yeah,
because
that definitely was the vibe of the way you said
toy.
That's
why.
All right, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toys for adults is not. It's not gonna be like those.
I take responsibility.
We have, if you're subbed or if you've been gifted a sub or if you would like to sub, and you may even have a free sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a free Prime Gaming sub up at the top right. You should be able to give that to us for free if you would like. And if you haven't used it on somebody else, you will get the emotes we have. We have cool little emotes. You'll see them popping up below my face in the video, in the chat. We also have Blurp, where you can pay some bits to play a variety of sounds that we've handpicked to be very funny, And I'm the only one who can hear them. So you'll see me
might
react.
not exist at all as just like a general concept, and I would never know, and that's how I prefer to keep it.
So we are beginning our Always Sunny in Philadelphia campaign, which should be an exciting one. It's a sitcom about terrible, awful people.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Carolyn, when we decided to do this, you immediately all caps said who you wanted to be. Who are you playing this month?
I am Frank. I feel very much like my D&D play style is fully Frank. Frank is a chaos dwarf. So a chaos dwarf in the realm of TV&D is a race of dwarves that uses chaos magic, particularly through scrolls and runes. Dwarves obviously are associated with runes. They live underground, they love gold and treasure, and they're always looking out for themselves. So Frank is a chaos dwarf. There we go.
Hell yeah.
That's me.
Hey Eli, who are you?
I'm Dennis. Possible serial killer, verified sociopath. I don't think I have a specific class, but I've got real high charisma because I'm beautiful Dennis, and I've got a couple magic scrolls. I've got beautiful bone structure, great cheekbones.
That's pretty good.
And your charisma can happen a lot because of the implication.
Yeah, the implication is there's always there. I was just gonna I feel like that's one of those jokes that if I keep doing it, it's and you don't want to think about the implication, much like the implication itself. Less good the more you discuss it.
And Tony, who are you playing?
I'm playing D'Angelo Ronaldo, aka D, the twin sister to Dennis, and definitely a fully realized character that they didn't just kind of tack onto the show after it was created by the three men who created the show.
Tony,
I'm learning a lot about the
okay.
show.
I won't take that knowing that
we
you've
need to
watched less
preface
of this
this.
show than anyone else on the
Tony
Discord call.
had
You have
never
literally
seen the
watched
show.
under 10 episodes, and you're talking
Tony
about the
had never
build-up of
seen
a
the
character.
show before like 2 days ago. You'd never seen the show.
Apparently, a lot of people in the chat haven't seen it either. So, I'm their cipher today.
Thank you, B Chaos, for the subscription. Thank you.
Yeah, she's also Bird. Everyone who has seen the show is just posting Bird.
Yeah,
So-
D is so. I think
That's
we
a thing
decided
from the
that
show.
Dennis is a drow. Is that correct?
Some sort of high elf, some sort of elf with excellent bone structure, but
Yeah,
maybe
Dennis is an
a
elf with
secret
excellent.
drow. A
A
secret albino drow.
drow. And then Deandra is the bird, is like a bird person, right?
Bird, yeah.
Sure, whatever you want.
It's Bird. It's Harvey Birdman. Turning it long.
Okay, great. So, is there anything else we need to go over, or should we get into it? Sounds like we should get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys know the deal. We are going to imagine our fantasy city of Catch-All, where all of our TV characters live together and go on adventures. But we're focusing in specifically on a neighborhood where it, of course, is always sunny. The Catch-All neighborhood of Philadelphia. And it's got a little more character, I think, than the rest of the city. People sleeping on the streets, broken bottles everywhere.
Throwing batteries at Santa Claus. Cool Philly
Santa
stuff.
Claus, who is just a regular wizard who just exists. He's very powerful, but he's a regular wizard.
And he's just trying to get to work.
Yeah,
And
he's
just
a busy
built-
guy.
Their football team
absolutely-
sucks.
What is the Catch-All City equivalent of the Liberty Bell?
I think it's the
The
Liberty.
Big Bell.
The Big Bell.
The Big Bell.
The big old bell.
It's huge. It's the one from that episode that we did with Muppets, where there was a big bell.
There we go.
The tower.
Oh wait,
go.
okay, so in Catch-All City, the neighborhood of Philadelphia is actually inside of this Liberty Bell chamber that has a magical sun. So it is literally always sunny
A bell jar?
in this neighborhood.
Does that work
like
for
it.
you, Brian? Because
That works for me.
I'm all about it.
Brian
That
throws
works for me.
papers over his
Let's
shoulder.
live in
Sure.
the
He's like, okay, plot of Eternal Darkness out the window.
Yes, and
Yeah.
We zoom in on a little alley, somehow even filthier than the rest, where there is a green door leading to a Paddy's Tavern, if you will. Now we've established Italy exists. I'm gonna go out in our universe. Italy is real, the motherland. I'm gonna go ahead and say Ireland does not. It absolutely
That's
does not.
not where I thought you were
Ireland
going
does
with
not.
that. Okay.
100% does not exist, but Paddy's is still Irish themed.
Can you confirm that Ireland exists in our world?
Honestly, I can't do that for you right now.
All right. Then I'd say this world's not so different than our own.
We're not so different.
this is one of the Paddy's is one of those taverns where all the surfaces are sort of inexplicably sticky.
Yeah.
It was
I can
maybe
explain.
cleaned. It was cleaned one time in 1998 and then never again. Tobacco smoke is just fucking embedded in any like surface.
You tell how
Um,
tightly your shoes are tied when you walk in. You're like, ooh, I feel space in between the sole of my foot and, you know?
so
Whoa.
it's a pretty average afternoon. We haven't gotten into the evening rush, kind of the closest that could possibly get. There is one table filled with adventurers of like not particular renown. They're in like kind of put together armor, some lower quality weapons, some adventurers making their way up in the world. They're a couple of rounds deep. But other than that, the bar is pretty much empty. Where would we find all of you on a typical late afternoon at the bar, which you own and work at?
Drinking at the bar, which we own and work at, near the bar, staring and talking loudly about the people in the bar as if they can't hear us. And that's what we're doing. Like I'm just disgusted, and I'm like, they've been, like 4 adventures tops. This is not a high quality adventure. This is not who we want in here. You know what?
Frank
that-
emerges from a back room, a back warren of rooms, and has a very worried look on his face. He knows that something is wrong with there's something wrong.
Oh, interesting. Frank comes out worried, some concern on his face. What do you do?
She loses it. She loses her shit. She says, "Just say it. Just say it. Just say it."
Frank,
We
what's
know
wrong?
that you're waiting
Frank,
to ask, so just say it already.
Frank, stop doing your little dance and tell me, D, what's wrong.
Frank stops his little jig that he was doing, his nervous jig.
The something wrong dance.
Yeah.
That we
Says,
all know.
Dennis, Deandra, we're running out of gold. This could be it for Paddy's pub,
Then
Paddy's tavern.
give
We
us
had
more
gold. I turned to Dennis.
Then give us more gold, Frank. Aren't you rich? Don't you just give us more?
I'm not exactly liquid right now. Chaos Dwarf's wealth is mercurial, and it's not producing much right now.
As you guys are talking, one of the adventurers comes over the table, empty giant flagons that they put down on the bar, expecting a refill. And one of the adventurers, he's what's a fun fantasy archetype? Let's make him a wizard. He's in the robes. He's got the pointy hat.
It took you that long to think of a wizard. A guy walks up. He's how do you say?
No, I was trying to think of something more clever and I couldn't, and I gave up.
Sorcerer.
So he went back to Mickey Mouse in Fantasia.
So he leans in and is like, "Hey, so if we wanted to make our way down into the dungeon, that's beneath any respectable tavern of note, where could we find that?"
I look the wizard up and down, and I'm like, "So you are looking to make your way down into a dungeon, huh?"
D.
Deandra, you're scaring off the customers. No one wants to fuck your bird cloaca, okay?
I ruffle my feathers and turn away.
Excuse my sister. So dungeon, what sort of fee? I'm just like looking at Frank and D, because we're clearly like making this was like, well, there's an entrance fee, of course.
The dungeon is full of great stuff and will be open 3 days hence when the moon is full.
Yes.
Frank like quickly does some chaos magic to check when the next full moon is, and he goes, 4 days hence when the moon is full. So he was one day off.
The wizard looks back at his table. He's like, guys, they don't even have a dungeon here. Come on, we're going.
We don't have
Cheers.
a dungeon. You have a fucking pointy hat, sir.
It's a thing. It's an archetype.
What's your adventuring grade? All of you. Show me your badges. Show me your guild. Show me your guild cards. I'm looking at you. You've got nothing. You've got leather armor.
They're
Got a
all
plus
they're
one
all level
among
1.
you. And you come to me. You come into our bar. And what a credit. Our dungeon would kill you if we had it, and I would be happy about it. You know what? How much? Frank, how much do beer cost here?
These fuckos can afford.
You've been charging?
Don't we have a ledger or something? Frank, the ledger? The books?
Frank turns around really quickly and starts stress eating eggs.
All right. You know
that
what?
D has laid also. D is constantly laying eggs because she's a bird.
All right,
and
how
Frank
gross
eats
can I take it?
You know what? Pay
Mac
for your
comes out from a corner. He's like, "Are you eating D's eggs?"
Get out! Go get off my back!
Yeah, Mac,
Frank, I just had those fertilized.
Mac, what do beers cost at our bar? Remind me.
Probably a gold coin, Frank.
What? Calling me Frank. All right. Well, 2 gold
sorry.
coins for you.
Oh, you were asking Mac. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm in the scene now. I get
Oh,
it.
okay.
A coin or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, it's 2 coins for all of you because of your sass mouths. So 2 coins. I'm like counting up the bottles. There's that. So 16 coins, and then get the fuck out of our bar.
The wizard like looks at it. Throws down the gold, and they all go.
And yeah. Perfect. Finally. This is you know. The clientele that we attract is subpar, I have to say.
And it's gonna stay subpar unless we get a dungeon.
We have a basement.
Yeah, that's like half a dungeon. We're halfway to a dungeon. You know, what do you do? Just needs
Perfect.
to be pointier. What do you do in a dungeon? I don't really go down there. I don't do a lot of dungeoneering.
Something that they're gonna come to the dungeon, and then if they die in the dungeon, they'll leave their treasure and their weapons behind, and then we can take that and resell it. Plus, it'll drum up more business. They say, "Oh, this is a hard dungeon."
To make a bigger dungeon that kills more people.
Yes.
That's what we call a virtuous cycle.
Yes. All
Let's
right.
do it.
We need to make a dungeon.
The murder dungeon. A murder dungeon.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what doesn't make you any
Mac or
money?
Brian talking?
This is Mac.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that either of you are
Yeah.
confused.
Well, listen up, Mac, because here is a little financial lesson for you. You know what makes no money is a dungeon that's easy and everyone walks in and they get the treasure and walks out. What makes money is a dungeon where no one ever leaves. They come in, we loot their body, like Dee says. She uses her talons to rip their pockets apart and take out their coins.
Dee's bird talons.
Yes.
They're super sharp.
Yeah. And then we have a pile of corpses, which Charlie can burn or eat or whatever he's up to. And then
We're not eating corpses anymore.
He's not burning or
No?
eating them.
By the
I
way.
know what he's up to.
Charlie's in a corner,
He's
just like
burning.
not eating.
Well, it's,
Not
he's-
eating? Why the
I think
bar
he's
is
still
stinking.
burning them.
Not eating. Not eating.
Well, I think he's still burning them because the smell in here is.
A little burning. A little burning.
A little burning.
A little burning.
He's burning something, and it's not good.
He's
It's not.
covered in like coal soot.
Yeah.
Not burning.
Yeah. Like, so they come in, they die. We pick their pockets, which is fine and not stealing because they're dead and they don't exist. And, then we just spend that.
Unless they're ghosts, and then their ghosts are part of the dungeon.
Yeah,
Can
but
I
they
make a
stay out in the
motion?
dungeon.
Can I make a motion to like prompt the title card?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
somebody just shouts like, "Everybody out! We need to figure out how to kill all of you." And then
Yeah, there's still one guy finishing a beer. We're like, what are you doing here? All of your friends are gone.
And what does it say?
gang makes a dungeon. Somebody in the chat actually. Yeah, amiability and wizard.
When you prompted, I thought you had something
The
cooked
gang
up.
makes a dungeon. Perfect.
No, I mean, I've seen 10 episodes of this show. I understand it perfectly. It's the gang makes a dungeon.
Let's go.
Great. So
Chardy McDungeon.
Whoa!
Wow.
So beneath Paddy's are 3 empty chambers of like stone walls, a couple of like doors barely hanging off of their hinges, barely hanging onto their hinges, if you will. And if you're gonna make this a dungeon, you're gonna have to populate it with some things.
I'd also like to say we probably told Charlie he could live down here, and he has to move.
Yeah,
Charlie,
now
this
we're
is a
taking
dungeon
it
now.
back.
Get
Was
your
ready to make the same suggestion, so I'm glad that we're all just.
yeah, Charlie, get your shit
This
out of
game
here.
plays itself.
No.
Don't
All
I
right,
don't
Charlie,
care,
you can
Charlie.
move back in with me. You can move back in with
Yeah,
me.
move back in with Frank.
I got my own place.
The two of you can make glue or whatever it is that you do.
You
Makes
don't know.
smell
Don't
like
listen.
you
Don't
do.
talk about what we do because you don't know what we do. We don't make glue.
I don't
That's not
wanna
what
know
we
what you
call
do.
it anymore.
I got
That's
an
not what we
idea.
call it anymore.
Have you ever heard of having your cake and eating it too?
Glue.
Charlie, stay right there. I rummage around and I get a bunch of trash and I dress him like a little kind of like bridge troll sort of character who Charlie, you're gonna let people into the dungeon. You basically just have to stand here, never go to sleep, always be ready.
Mhm.
And do you know any riddles?
No.
How are we
All
gonna
right,
teach
you
you
got
riddles?
time because we're still making this dungeon. Think of
Okay.
something good.
We can't teach
All right.
Charlie riddles. We can't. What are we gonna give him a riddle book? He can't read.
All right,
Yeah,
then
he
come
can't
on,
do
I
a
don't
riddle.
care.
Not
do
good with
riddles?
riddles. Not good with riddles.
Guys, is this like bag like demeaning?
Look, let's
feel
give
like
Charlie. Look here. I'll demonstrate
What
for
show
you.
do
Dave.
you think this is, Brian?
Look at this. Okay. Hey Charlie, here's a riddle for you. Okay, let's go with a classic. What walks on 4 legs and then it walks on 2 legs and then it walks on 3 legs? He's sweating. Look at this. It's unbelievable.
Dude, it's me?
You?
Is it me?
I mean, in a weird way, yeah, he got it right.
Yeah, he did get it right. He did get it
That
right.
sounds
He's
right
the
to me.
I don't
he's
think
the
he-
he's the entrance. He's the bridge.
And
troll.
you
He's
said
the-
Charlie couldn't do riddles.
Well, if
I
he had
can
to
do
show,
riddles.
if he had to show his work, let's say, I don't think that how he got there would have been correct, but I guess he is.
It's no, like that one time I like grew 4 legs in that
Oh,
weird
see,
accident.
and if he grew
And then
4,
we
that would
hacked
give
him
you
off,
8.
and I got that infection. And yeah, no, it's me. I got it. This is a great
best
one.
barbecue I ever ate.
I want to remember that.
Why are we cannibalistic? We're all eating each other's pieces.
Chaos dwarf. Chaos dwarf. All
I
right,
hit
we're
Charlie
gonna
a
need-
club and just say like, so if somebody gets that wrong, just kill him with this.
Just fight them. Don't let them in.
We're gonna need good stuff for this dungeon. We're gonna
Dude, it's
need
an
a
egg.
boss. We're gonna need skeletons to protect the treasure, and we're gonna need treasure.
Skeletons are so loud. I think we got to go with something softer.
They're great. Clack, 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 clack. What do you want to catch a goo man?
Yeah, we could catch a goo man. What's wrong with a goo man, Frank?
Maybe we should start with the treasure. Try to acquire the treasure. I know that there's a junkyard nearby. That's got.
Well, you think that heroes are gonna walk in here looking for junk that they just can get from the junkyard next door?
This isn't any ordinary junkyard. It's a junkyard right next to the
saying
magical
Did
school.
you
drunkyard?
say
Frank?
drunkyard? Are you saying
Frank, you
drunk?
keep
Did
saying
you say
drunkyard.
junkyard?
I'm hearing you say drunkyard and
Frank.
not junkyard.
It's not a drunkyard. What are you talking?
He's saying drunkyard, right?
Well, fine. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
You go to a junkyard, Frank, first of all, like normal people. But I will say this. This treasure is pure net loss. Okay? So I think we want something that sounds very enticing, but is very cheap, or I think that we should not pay for it at all, and we should just steal something.
I like this idea.
I
We're
like
low
this
on
idea.
gold.
The
Frank's
best kind
not
of
liquid.
treasure is illicit.
Perhaps even if we can trigger a curse on it while we steal it, that just adds to the flavor of the dungeon. We'll draw straws. I'm like saying draw straws, but I'm like, we'll draw straws, like looking at Charlie. And whoever draws the shortest straw will have to get the curse.
Charlie is like trying to remember the riddle.
Yeah. He's still doing the riddle. Charlie.
What Charlie has 4 legs in the... Wait, no.
Charlie, the riddle doesn't matter. You don't need to... You're fine. Just don't forget about the riddle.
Forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Can we smash cut to this drunk yard?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We smash cut to the drunk yard.
There is one of the mutated seagulls from a Bob's Burgers campaign with like teeth and like patches of feathers missing, and it's like it's an Akira bird from the
I look at it and I go,
Can I motion that we don't let Brian finish this and instead, like, it's just our wagon wheel rolling right over the top of it, like we didn't notice it?
yeah, and I'm like, oh, we hit D. Oh, D. Okay. You. I thought you'd fallen out of the car again.
You arrive at the Catch-All City, Philadelphia specific junkyard, which is just piles and mounds of trash and refuge, and maybe, hopefully, a magical cursed item. Is it just you guys, or is everyone here? Are Charlie and Mac here also?
I mean, we could have told Charlie to clean up the dungeon.
I think it's just us, and Charlie and Mac are tasked with cleaning out the 3 rooms of the inevitable rats and puddles and spilled
They are
beer.
tasked with a B plot that we
They're
did not
tasked with
see.
a B plot.
That lives in the theater of the mind.
Yeah.
/ maybe we'll see it next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
or
like,
that, yeah.
You know, Charlie might like clean it up a little bit, not too much. But get Charlie stuff out of here for sure.
Yeah, you gotta get your Charlie stuff out.
You don't need a bed because a bed's gonna throw off the vibe of the whole dungeon.
Just my mattress.
Yeah, no,
That's all I got.
Yeah, but you could just sleep on the floor. It'll be good for your back, Charlie. You got those
Have you
back
thought about
problems.
sleeping in a coffin or a tomb, a sarcophagus?
You could
of
do
some
that.
kind. Something that a dead body might live in and we should put in.
Yeah, maybe
Listen,
something you could
Charlie's
sleep
gonna
in.
move in with me. It's the way things should be. It's better this way.
You know, it's convenient for us, so I'll sign off. But I can't help but think this is the start of a horrific crime documentary.
Or an epic love story.
So what are you guys like searching through the piles of trash and refuge, or sending someone specific out to do it?
I
Who's
think
contributing?
Dennis is not touching it.
I'd like
I'm
to
smoking.
use my I'd like to do a check just to see if, as we're all magical beings, and I'd like to see if I can sense any direction to go, if there's any like magical items catching my awareness in this area.
I think D, you and I like big up Frank and tell him he's perfect for this job, so that we don't have to touch any trash.
Yeah, he's going to the
Yeah.
trash pile.
I'm just smoking, and I'm just like, yeah,
Frank
you
also
know
has
what? That sounds
huge
great.
eyes that, like, as a dwarf, as a chaos dwarf, and also as Frank, just like loves this trash area. There's so much possibility here.
Carolyn, give me a wisdom check. Roll a d20 plus your wisdom modifier. That's the number in the parentheses.
Here we go. That's a 5 plus wisdom is 2, so that's a 7.
So Frank, you are climbing up a giant mountain of trash, perhaps like chasing something that looks like gold at the top and like hits the sunlight, and you get that luster in your eye as you head up to go and grab it. Clearly it must be something good, and your foot suddenly begins to sink into the mound of trash. You appear to now be sinking into trash quicksand, if you will. What do you do?
Quick trash.
Dennis, Bird, Deandra, I need assistance. Help me.
We're very far away.
Yeah, we're at an
We have
Italian ice stand outside of
wandered off.
Yeah, we're nowhere near you.
I see that
I
there,
know that
I'm
we're
calling to them.
supposed to make this work somehow, but I'm just trying to be authentic to what I know.
Yeah,
of the show.
it's like smash cut to me and D eating Italian ice, and I'm like pretty mad at the guy who's selling it. So
How can it cost this much? It's just
it's ice. I can make
I don't
this.
care if it's from Italy.
You give me.
I'm doing the
What, is
best I
water
can.
different in Italy?
You know what? Take the labor costs off. Give me the little squirt bottle, and I'll do the ice myself. This is absurd.
I'm trying to feed my family.
Well, it's neither me
What, they don't
nor
like
Dee's
Italian
problem.
ice? I pour it over on his head.
Yeah, and
No.
we're not paying for any of this. I don't know how.
Oh.
Cut
Take
back
his
to
money on the way out.
cut back to Frank. He's sinking in, panicking, and he uses a magic scroll
He's gonna have
for
to because we're not helping.
for objectify. You become an inanimate object between the sizes of an apple and a grand piano. So he's going to shrink down to the size of a little bit larger than an apple, a grapefruit, so that he can rest
What?
on top of the
larger than
trash.
an apple.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like that's bad to do if you're sinking. Is like become smaller.
No,
Like,
I'm going to become smaller, so I'm lighter, so I'm resting on top of it. So I quit sinking into the quicksand trash.
Why don't you become like a kite and fly away? Or a bird?
Kite would have to get a
Um,
running start though.
in
Kite
an
would-
anime.
Okay, I didn't specify which item I'm going to become, but Frank would never become a kite. He's going to become a
I feel like what's the nastiest fruit? It wouldn't be a grapefruit.
An egg.
Frank becomes an egg and then starts rolling down the pile of trash. The
Form
trash
of
hill.
egg.
And then he says form of egg and becomes an egg and then rolls down the trash pile and lands at Dennis and Dee's feet.
Yeah, we don't notice. We're just talking about, and I'm like, should we have gotten Frank an Italian ice?
Also, chat says I become a durian, which is also egg shaped. So
Durians are
he'll become an
spiky as
egg
fuck.
durian. Yeah, exactly. So he's got a lot of trash that sticks to him, including like a lot of goblin
Well,
like
but what
corn.
about in egg form?
That it's an egg form durian and it comes down. It rolls down the hill.
So yeah, you roll
Yeah,
down the
okay.
garbage pile, landing at Dennis and Dee's feet.
Ooh, thank you
They
for the
do not
Prime
seem to notice you.
subscription, DC
Oh
Riley.
yeah, DC Riley. Oh, thanks a lot.
That's the producer, not somebody
thanks.
that we're mad
Okay.
at.
We'll
His
give you an
Bezos
equally
books are
warm
good too.
subscription. We'll give you an equally warm
Everyone's
thank
a
you
bit
if
good
you
Bezos
subscribe,
boy.
though, anyone.
So I think I'm just with there's an egg, but why will we know what the egg was? I think we're like,
I don't even notice it, and I just kick it out of the way.
yeah. Like, oh,
Frank goes, oh, and then transforms back as he's like spinning in the way an egg would spin. You see just your naked, wet, like father figure spinning out.
can I ask, is this like a Hulk type of transformation? Like what happens? Hey, thank you for the gift sub, amiability to the state Arizona.
Thank you so much.
Amiability.
Nice.
Is this like a Hulk? Like, what's the deal with your clothes when you transform? They transform with you, or is
They
it like
transform with me.
No
They transform
way.
with
But
me.
you still transform back naked somehow.
Yes. They transformed, but are just lost in the ether now.
Yeah, I was
They're
like,
part of
oh,
the energy that people can draw from for magic.
like Jesus Christ, Frank. All right, can I go like find like a gross T-shirt to give him? I want like a long, like a sleep shirt.
It's got Tweety Bird on it.
Yeah, just like a long, nasty sleep shirt from the trash. Like, Frank, you have to cover up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Frank's thing didn't work, so Dee is getting frustrated. She was like, this is taking too long. Why don't we just find somebody who works here and have them take us to the good stuff?
Yeah.
So I'm
Is
gonna
there a
find
bell? There should be like a
whoever
bell.
manages the drunk yard to take us to the good treasure.
Yeah.
There's a so there's a little shack where you have to march deep into this junkyard to get to this little shack where a very bored looking gnome is sitting at a desk. It's swelteringly hot in the shack for some reason, even though it's a very mild day outside. He's got trash all in his gray and wispy beard, his little fuzzy eyebrows with and just muck and grossness all over him. He's like, hello.
Okay, like, hey, Sweaty Murphy, listen.
Uh-huh.
We know that like one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that means there's treasure here somewhere, and that you've been hoarding it. Why don't
Yeah,
you just save us all some time and just take us to the good stuff?
anything shiny, anything shaped that looks ominous. Do you have like any organizational system here at all, or is it just piles? Because I see mostly piles.
So if I were to understand, you're looking for the good stuff.
That's right. That's right. Frank's
Yes,
gonna.
I don't understand why you're winking, but we'll all do it back.
Yeah.
Frank
okay.
wants to roll charisma to try and get extra ingratiated with this guy and see if they maybe have any underworld connections.
What is
together.
Frank's charisma?
Yeah.
11.
Okay.
He has +1 charisma.
What are you doing to try and charm him?
Just chatting him up, talking about maybe hinting at shadowy connections that we might share.
Go ahead and make a charisma roll.
I will. Another 5. Cocking asshole cock.
The gnome looks at Frank and was like, "I'm a junkyard manager. What are you implying? Anyway, we got a pile of good stuff. What's it worth to you?"
I butt in to threaten the manager now. Listen here, I've been standing this high in Italian ice all day long, and now garbage? What do I have to roll to make this guy tell me?
Let's go ahead and make that charisma as well.
Charisma. Okay, I also have 11 plus 1 here. There we go. That's plus 1. That's 11.
So he looks at you. He's sort of beginning to shake a little bit, and he's like, "It's down the hill. Down the hill. There's a big pie. You can't miss it. It's all glowing."
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna head. I'm gonna say a very, very rude thank you, and then head down the hill.
I pour out my
You're welcome.
Italian ice like on the floor,
Oh,
and I'm
I
not
did
saying
the
anything.
same.
I'm just saying to D, I'm like, if always at the bottom, it gums up. Oh, you get the chunks. I don't like the chunks.
So why not just make the syrup what's frozen? I don't get it.
Just take it out. Just take out. Unbelievable.
You find yourselves at the big pile of good stuff. Let's see. So we have a poll. What is the good thing that is immediately kind of noticeable among the pile of trash? Is there
Ooh.
a sinister demonic statue, a cool ass sword, bashed up golden armor, or an ornate lock?
Does the lock look locked?
Brisket? Does the lock look brisket?
Does the lock look brisket?
Why would you put a lock in a poll?
Yeah.
This is like
What, Brian? You know who watches this show? It's the Brisket fan club.
maybe as a poll option, the lock is a mimic. And we'll bite the hands
More
off of
fake
everyone who looks
polls?
for it.
Fake polls upon fake polls?
Does Brisket have a wiki page yet? Do we have a wiki page yet? Can someone make a wiki page for us?
Oh, Brisket
Please?
probably has Rule 34.
Not one
at
of
this
those
point.
fan wiki pages. We're talking a real deal
A
Wikipedia
real
page.
wiki page.
Somebody
Okay.
write about us on like NY Post so that you can use it as a reference back to the wiki page.
Let's see. We got a couple seconds up on this poll. The ornate lock
Oh yeah,
appears
let's
to be
give
winning.
it time.
Oh, really?
oh, really? What?
Really?
Wow.
Brian, what?
So, D, you pick up this ornate lock from the garbage. It's covered. It's even though this is like the pile of the good stuff, it's still covered in like slime and trash. Dennis and Frank, it's very clearly nothing, and you can see beside you a cool ass sword that D has stepped right over.
I'm like, so
D'Angelo,
we're all in
what do you
agreement.
do-
Yeah.
What are you doing grabbing this nasty lock?
Yeah, we're all in agreement here. It's the sword, right? Yes.
It's a lock. It's inherent mystery. You see a lock and you want to put a key in it.
No,
you want to jam a key into it and just turn it all around until something good happens.
But it has to
right?
be locking something. Like this
What?
cool sword, D. The lock is the beginning. It's not the end of a treasure.
Do you see how heavy that sword is? I dare you to try and pick it up. I
I'll
can put
pick
this
it
in
up.
my
It's
pocket.
a regular sword. It's not. It doesn't matter how heavy it is. It's a sword. It's supposed to be used. D.
I
Frank
will
looks
tell you
at
what,
the sword.
Maybe for you and your hollow bones, you little you heron, you won't be able to pick it up and you'll shatter. But for anyone that's a real human, you should be able to pick it up no problem.
Frank looks at the sword, and it does look extremely heavy, and he really can't imagine picking it up.
I'll pick up the sword. Will
The
that
sword is in
solve
fact-
this?
The sword is in fact not that heavy. Dennis is able to pick up this very cool ass sword.
There you
Oh,
go.
very
Sword.
impressive
Have
in
fun
a dungeon.
carrying that all the way back to the bar.
I
by
will.
yourself.
It'll
Well,
be no
I
problem
carry
for
this
me.
Big heavy lock.
You carry your nasty little lock. I don't care. I'll be walking around with a sword and commanding respect, and you'll be carrying a nasty little lock that has no secrets to it because it doesn't lock anything.
All right, we got the treasure. Should I turn us all into eggs so we can roll back to the bar?
Frank, enough. We do not want to be eggs. That can't be faster.
Charlie would want to be eggs with me.
Charlie would want to be a lot of things, Frank.
Smash cut back to the bar. Charlie comes up from the dungeon. He's got cobwebs. His broom is all mucked up. They've been fighting rats down there. It's like, did you guys eggs?
What is? You cut out for a second for me.
Did you guys turn into eggs?
No, Charlie. I've told you, you don't need to let Frank turn you into an egg.
I did.
Hanover and D and Frank are both eggs. And Dennis is incredibly sweaty. Sorry, Dennis. Incredibly exhausted and sweaty from carrying this sword all the way as a
Yeah, but I look cool.
And the
stubborn
lock,
show
because
of-
D couldn't carry the lock as an egg, and Frank and D are having a great time as eggs, just rolling around, tumbling. It's a fun time for them.
just
Yeah,
rolling
I've
around,
got my
smelling
sword.
sulfur.
I'm like, you know what? Now I'm glad to have this sword back amongst some people with taste and an idea of value. Mac, Charlie, check out this sword. And I
They
look
immediately
it up.
just look over square at the lock and just like, what's that? It's full of mystery.
It's not
I want to
locking
see what it
anything.
unlocks.
Nothing. You can see that it unlocks nothing.
I mean, I'm imagining these are soft boiled eggs, right? You know, like they don't have shells on them. D's weird little face like emerges from the egg and just kind of like nods knowingly. Like, yeah. It's like really glistening and white and disgusting, but just like, see?
I'd like to pick up D egg and put her in the jar of pickled eggs on the bar.
So Mac like looks over and is so did you find a monster to like protect the lock? There's gotta be a monster, right?
It's a
that like
process, Mac.
so no monster. You didn't get a monster. You came back with just
We
a lock
had a
and no monster?
specific task, Mac. Did you clean? Did you get all Charlie's weird mattresses out of the basement?
We have begun the process.
There's like empty beer bottles everywhere.
We threw away a bunch of the beer bottles we drank.
Frank transforms back into a chaos dwarf and just looks around and says, "It looks like you guys just got pretty fucked up and drank a lot of beer while we were gone."
Charlie stumbles back out from the dungeon, red-faced, hair wild, and was like, "I got a riddle!" And then boom.
Oh. Great. I mean, how many of Charlie's inexplicable amount of different mattresses that he has are still in the basement? I feel like Charlie has different places to sleep, like based on like how angry he is and like what mood he's in.
Charlie, like, it makes a difference.
Yeah, he like thinks he has different dreams in each one. Like if he has a nightmare, he won't sleep in that one anymore. There's like a shit ton of mattresses.
This is Eli. This is funny because this is how I feel about pillows. Like I need different pillows for different, or I want to sleep in like a different part of the bed based on how I'm feeling.
You would love dream catchers because they're all about what you're saying.
I will also
Okay.
say, Carolyn, I feel like embody Charlie with the most spirit.
I do feel like in my actual life, I am Charlie the most, for sure. But in my D&D playstyle, I am Frank because
yes.
it's extremely aggro.
D&D would infuriate Charlie because there's like it's math and reading. It's like we'd hate it. Make him so mad.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's also Mac does not answer Dennis's question, but none of the mattresses.
Yeah,
they're heavy,
definitely.
they're awkward. I don't want to get them up the stairs. But you know, it's like we're almost done.
Is there anyone in the bar? Like, or is it empty?
It is empty currently.
All right.
All right, we have treasure. We have a lock. We have a guardian for the entrance. Wink at Charlie, who's passed out.
Yeah.
What we need is a challenge. We need to find monsters. Smash cut. It's a new episode. The gang finds a monster.
Hope Brian has one cooked up.
So, what monster? Do you guys know any I didn't already tell you guys things around the surrounding area. So what is your plan for getting a monster for this dungeon?
If we're gonna make the best dungeon, we need the hardest monster.
Yeah, everyone has to die. As I said before, anyone who makes it through this dungeon is just a net loss for us. Financially, we need a just undefeatable monster.
So we can steal their stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wizard Dad says they get the Philadelphia Fanatic.
The Philly Fanatic.
Oh my God.
No. Carolyn,
Gritty.
no.
Can it
So
be the
me, it's
name
Chad.
of whatever monster that we get, though?
I mean, hey, you can name the monster whatever
All
you
right.
want.
Gritty's
We're
too
go
ca-
after the Philly
The
fanatic.
Neither Gritty nor the Fanatic would be tamed, though.
Oh yeah, we have to have a monster that can be tamed. Gritty and the Philly fanatic cannot be tamed,
Also, if you
but
did
they
anything
are
to Gritty,
canonically fucking.
if you did anything to Gritty, the city of Philadelphia would murder you. You'd be like strung up.
Right.
In the
And we
town.
Right.
deserve it. We
Yeah.
deserve
Gritty
it.
is Elmo's son, right? We can all agree on that.
His large son, Gritty.
His large son.
Or is that a
My
Philadelphia?
large orange son.
I don't know if that's a Philadelphia accent.
No, I was
Taste-
just saying large weird.
Oh yeah.
Tasty has a great point. How is this the It's Always Sunny ep where the gang there's the most productive?
You know,
Good point.
we even can't go on as many tangents as the true Always Sunny crew can. because we get tasks completed somehow.
That's because this show is normally Always Sunny and we always get off track. And now that it's meta Always Sunny, we're actually doing great at Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons.
Yeah, also, we haven't reached the end of the episode where everything will reset to 0. So,
Right.
why argue that we're productive, part of the...
Okay, gang. So what is the plan? We need a monster.
Yeah. Who's that?
Okay.
Who's that scary guy?
Which
know,
one?
There's that scary guy that's always.
Alan?
I don't know his name.
Mark.
He's just always out and about and collecting
Theodore?
money from people. You know,
Mac?
who has a lot of debt? He collects debts. Who do we know who has a lot of debt? Can we give a call?
Frank, you are definitely extremely aware of Gorv the Beholder, a
Gorv the Beholder.
an interdimensional gangster beholder. If you're not familiar with D&D monsters, they are interdimensional floating eye monsters with a whole bunch of little satellite eyes that will fuck you up.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, who's that guy who whenever he comes by and we have to say that we don't know where you are and then you hide in that little fridge?
Frank doesn't say anything for literally 15 minutes. Totally freezes, goes into full Cookie Monster meme, Vietnam flashbacks, just thinking about all this crazy stuff with Gorv the Beholder, and then eventually snaps out of it and tells them all about Gorv the Beholder, this warlord, crime boss, apparently, beholder. And he's like, this is the guy we gotta get. He's the worst person I know. He's the biggest monster, and he'll make us a ton of money. We can take him out, but we gotta be careful. Let's go after Gorv the Beholder.
Sounds easy. Let's do it.
How tough can he be? Crime is
There's
easy.
3 of us.
Crime is
There's three
so
of us.
easy, you know?
So, do we know does Gorv have a stronghold? Does he have a bunch of guys protecting him?
Gorv does have a sort of like flop house where like he resides with his goons who go around terrorizing the neighborhood of Philadelphia. You know, because you've been dragged there a couple of times and had the shit beat out of you whenever you've been caught. Generally,
Okay, okay, right,
Isn't
right.
a
Yeah,
flop
sure,
house
sure,
like
sure.
a brothel?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've always thought it was kind of like a crash like pad for.
It's like a house
crime.
that you can flop at, you know?
I think a flop house is
L-
like an
lay
early
low.
version of a trap house, kind of.
Eli, let me ask you, where do you go when you're on the lam?
When I'm on the
You
lamb,
know?
not a flop house.
Because like when I'm on the lam, I wind up at every flop house on this side of
no,
town.
because that's the first place the cops go is they turn over the local flop house.
Yeah,
You
but you
know?
already
They
go.
walk in and they
I'm-
they smack their batons on the walls, and then all the groggy heroin addicts are like, "What?" You know? They don't stay
Clearly,
there.
we're all
Usually
people who
right.
have a ton of real experience with police.
You don't want to hide in a flop
base,
house.
a hideout, if you will.
Yeah, it's like if you were remote and you hid in the couch cushions. First, terrible. First place you look.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've convinced me. Let's move on.
So I'm like, all right, Frank, you clearly owe Gorb some unimaginable amount of money. Can you?
Gorv and I go way back. We've got a complicated relationship. He was in love with a woman. I
Frank,
was in
I
love
don't
with
mean
the
to interrupt
same
you,
woman.
but no one really
Yeah,
cares.
you seem
We
like you're
have
kinda
It gets
going-
an abrupt cutoff going into Frank's flashback, and then smash cut. We're outside of Gorv's flop house.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
So
And it-
D has a plan. It's brilliant. Frank, you owe him a lot of money. So what if we took him the money, but really we just took him?
yeah, Frank, tell him you have his money.
That's great.
We will
Deandra,
hide
get
in his
inside this
chest
bag so you
or
can
a bag.
you
and
can
then-
be the money. You'll
Yeah,
pose
D-
as the coins.
D, we need a
You're
heavy
heavy
bag.
enough and bony
Why do
enough
I
to
have to? Dennis
pose
is
as
much
coins.
heavier.
It's because you're the
Dennis would look like
pointiest, D.
much more coins.
D, no, if they carry the bag, they'll feel your sharp edges and they'll think that you're a series of coins. I can't be in there. They'll feel my cheekbones and know it's a beautiful man.
Are you denying that you're chiseled?
D,
Because
I'm
either-
just saying that you
either
don't.
You're chiseled and can be coins,
D-
or you're a floppy sack of shit and you can't be coins. So which is Dennis? You got to choose.
D, I'm just saying you
It's
don't.
one or
you
the
don't-
other.
You don't feel.
I hear you keep talking, but none of the things that you're saying are answering my question. So
D-
how can this be a conversation if you're not answering my question? Are you chiseled or are you a bag of shit? Are you a bag of coins or are you a bag of shit,
D,
Dennis?
what I'm trying to say is that you do not feel human to the touch. You feel like a collection of items. When I bump
He's
into
right.
you,
making
He's
loud
right.
bird noises at Dennis and chasing him around.
yeah, when
until he gets
I
back.
bump into you, when I
Frank-
hug you, it
Frank-
feels like I fell into a closet.
Ryan, can we roll to see who gets in the bag?
I'm
Yeah,
not getting
Frank,
in the bag.
Let's roll to see who gets in the bag.
I'm
This is
rolling
a
to-
whole tussle.
Okay.
Let's
I'm
roll
rolling
between
now.
the two of you. who
Diaz
gets in the bag.
rolled. I've rolled a 19. Beat that.
I mean, this plan will go to shit, and it'll be your fault. What's the roll? What's the bonus? Ryan?
Strength. Let's make it strength because you're trying to kind of force each other into the bag. Yeah.
All right, then I have rolled a 20, a dirty 20.
I have a 16.
So it appears by the will of fate that D has forced Dennis into the bag.
And only
Where's the
partially
loud bird
because
noises?
Dennis realized that he wants to be known as the more chiseled one,
No, I
who
just
is
don't.
in fact coin-like
I'm
because he's chiseled.
coins are different. I think I'm just furious to be in the bag.
I think
Just-
I think we get an inside shot of you in the bag and just steaming.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is gonna go to shit as soon as they get a hand on me.
So I think we smash cut to Gorv's hideout, which is kind of just like a shanty building, like down an alley, kind of it's like not quite dilapidated, but close, real close, not up to code. There is a door, big iron door, with two like just very shady characters, you know, hoods up. Classic.
So the door
rogue.
doesn't look locked, but it looks protected.
It looks guarded
Yeah,
by
okay.
some classic
Fair.
thieves guild-esque rogues. There is a balcony leading to an upper level also. That is unguarded, but how you would get to it, I'm not sure. Dennis is in a bag. Frank is here with the bag. And D is also nearby.
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
Frank's gonna walk up and say, look at the two guys. He probably doesn't know them because they're just minions. And say, I'm here for Gorv. Tell him Frank is here.
The two minions are just like, oh man, Gorv wants to fucking kill you. He wants to fucking kill you with his eye beams. He's got a lot of eye beams. Go ahead.
Just start shouting like, Gorv, Frank is here. Come kill him with your eye beams.
So you are. They open the door immediately, allowing you to walk right in with the bag. Dennis, how does it feel getting dragged while in a bag? Because I'm presuming
great.
you are getting fully dragged by a dwarf.
Frank doesn't have the height to lift me.
Right.
So I'm making nothing even close to the sound of coins being dragged. It's like quite obvious.
He's just going like, oh, coin, clink, 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 clank.
I'm just furiously smoking in the bag. There's cigarette smoke pouring out of the top.
I say to a minion as we pass, I know what you're thinking. It's a bag of just human feces, but no, actually it's coins, if you'd believe it. I know you couldn't tell from looking at it or feeling it or being around it at all.
As you guys enter the building, one of the minions looks to the other one and is like, there's straight up just a dude in that bag, right? We'll just see what happens.
And I'm like, thank you.
Nah, it's too chiseled. That is definitely a handsome man. So you are you head up a series of stairs through another pair of doors into Gorv's sort of main hall. There are a couple of minion flunkies counting coins. There are bookcases lining the walls, a couple of like glass cases with some of Gorv's like rare artifacts that he's acquired throughout the years from other people. Gorv is at the head of the room and was like, Frank, what a surprise.
Gorv, I've got a proposition for you.
Is the proposition you give me the money? If it's not, he can't point because he doesn't have fingers. But if it's not, I'm gonna kill you with my fucking knife.
What if there was a way for you to make so much more money than what I owe you because of me and through me?
His giant eyelid
Frank, what are you
closes in
doing?
like a
Yeah,
sigh.
you hear from the bag like, Frank, we're not cutting him in on the dungeon.
Frank, what are you doing? Just give him the treasure that we brought, Frank.
As a sign of my goodwill, Deandra,
Thank you.
I'll give you this treasure that I'm going to put very close to you. Frank very suspiciously, cartoonishly sneaks up to gently place the bag containing Dennis and then slowly unzips the bag. I assume zipper technology
I'm like,
exists
Frank, don't
in
open the
Catch-All
bag.
City.
I'm not coins. You can't
Can
open
I?
the bag. It'd ruin the illusion.
Frank opens the bag. Dennis has to pop out and then go into combat. It's time
Jesus
for combat. It's
Christ,
time for combat.
Frank,
Frank!
It's time for combat. It's time for combat. And then Frank casts a spell.
This is
Frank
Carolyn
casts a
style.
spell.
Make Carolyn
that's
roll
an
initiative.
apparent. Yeah, make Carolyn roll initiative. That's what I say too.
Carolyn is
Let's
not
do
allowed
it.
to have surprise.
We gotta subdue. We gotta
rounds.
subdue this guy.
I
I'm a
do-
chaos dwarf. I'm a chaos dwarf. I'm a chaos. It's chaos. Let's attack. Let's fight. Combat is the only fun part. Let's go. Let's go.
Wow. That's what you think of hanging out with us, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That's actually not related to D&D. That's just when our individual friendships. The only fun time is when we're
In
fighting
combat.
each other. We have that. You know how we have that fight club
Mm.
weekly punch time.
Once again, not in a fight club, and I wish you would stop punching me.
Okay, fair enough. Noted.
Um,
I'll consider it.
Okay, so I am gonna give Dennis a surprise round to do whatever he wants to do. Let's
That's the
see.
plan. He's the bomb.
Um, however, okay, actually, so you're all gonna get to go first.
Yeah.
But Dennis, you'll get to go twice because you have a surprise round.
Okay.
So Dennis, whatever you want to do.
I'd like to use one of my magic scrolls. I would like to cast Phobia, which is a creature becomes terrified of an object of your choice for 10 minutes. And I would like the object of choice to be lady who looks like coins.
What is it? What does casting this spell look like on a beholder?
I mean, I'm like still smoking, and I just like unroll a scroll, and I'm like, phobia. How would Dennis cast? Let's see. I like take a big puff off of like my fucking Marlboro light or whatever, and then I like blow it into the beholder, and it kind of like seeps into all of the holes he's got.
And his giant eye looks at D, and it was like, "She's terrible."
Like, oh wow, what does she look like? What are you scared of?
Like a terrible pile of coins.
Thank
that are
you.
terrifying.
Thank you.
I'm going to just jump in here and take my turn. I don't care whose turn it is. I'm going to cast my magic scroll, Charm. One creature treats you as a friend for 10 minutes. I'm going to cast this on the beholder. Befriend it. Because no friend would think that I would look like coins, but my friend would certainly agree that my piece of shit brother looks like a dog shit bag of coins.
His eye, I think, like receiving the conflicting signals of true terror and charm. I think his giant eye and all of the little eyes on stalks all roll like to the back of the lid, and he immediately like booms onto the floor and starts seizing.
Yeah, it's a real emotion. It's like when you're so it's like, you know, it's like that tall lady from the new Resident Evil where you're like, ah, but also interesting. But also,
But he is just like twitching, and he's like, it was floating, but he is like sunk to the ground with a doom, and is just twitching and rocking back and forth.
Well, you broke him, Dennis. If he doesn't wake up,
can I? Well, you cut out, Tony. I didn't hear the end of your
You cut out, yeah.
I don't believe you that I cut out.
I'm being honest. This is not Dennis. You did not produce audio for the 5
I
seconds.
said that, well, you broke him. If he doesn't wake up, then you have to find the next one.
I'd like to. I have 2 moves. I remember Brian saying that. I'd like to use my other magic scroll called Babble. Does this work on humans or only creatures?
No, it'll work on humans or
Okay.
creatures.
A creature or human must loudly and clearly repeat what you think. It is otherwise mute for 10 minutes. I would like to target D, and I would like to have.
I'm logging off.
I would like to have her say,
I'm out of here.
I'm an angular, glittering pile of coins.
She's already plugged her ears. She
This
is
is magic, dude.
running. She's fleeing.
What is she saying while she's fleeing?
I don't know, because she's too far away for you to hear it. But maybe the guards outside hear it.
What's the range on my magic scrolls, Brian?
It is well beyond the confines of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So
I cast
definitely
Babble.
She's out of here. You're never hearing D say these words.
Are we
Not as
back
long
in
as you live.
PvP?
The beholder is like blinking, and like as D has left the room, maybe gaining some semblance of where he is and what is happening. He pukes a little,
Ew.
and gets himself off the ground floating, and is like, what is happening?
Like, Frank, the bag.
Frank begins to scoop the beholder's puke into the bag.
Not Frank, no. Put him in the bag, not the puke.
Frank hurriedly douses the puke out of the bag, and then tries to sneak up behind the beholder and smush the bag around him. It's a bag of holding. It's a magical bag. of course.
So let's make opposed rolls. I think it's going to be a dexterity check to kind of position that and make that happen.
Okay.
I'm going to let him make a roll as well to avoid it. He rolled a 15. He is quite large and is difficult to wrangle into a bag.
Okay.
I'll help.
I'm gonna
and I'll
roll
say
now.
that it breaks my concentration on Babel, so Babel is no longer effective.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that D is already long gone, so the scene's up to you two.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna ask God, who I never ask for anything, to make this a 20, natural 20. Here we go. That's a 7.
So Frank, you are currently hanging off of the beholder, unable to get the like having trouble getting the bag over this sentient orb's full body. So you are now hanging in the air, hanging off of this creature, as several of the minions are now grabbing daggers and realizing they should probably do something about this. There are 3 of them, and they are beginning to close in on your ranks. Let's see, D's gone. Dennis has gone twice, which actually means they're going to get to go. So, one of the guy, or actually, I think all 3 are going to come for Dennis. That makes sense because Frank is hanging off the beholder. So
One of them did well.
one of them did well, and is going to do 2 hits worth of damage. So Dennis, you're down to 1 hit point.
Okay.
Not
good.
And now, let's see. Frank, you're going to make a strength roll to stay hanging on to the beholder. He's going to try to whip you off. And he rolled a 17. You're going to roll plus your dex.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking to chat. I like them better than any of you guys.
How could they reward?
I just said God is dead, but guess what? I was wrong. God is real, and it's me. La 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 la.
Frank, I think as it's attempting to buck you off, it actually manages to like help you get the bag over Gorf. And you hit the ground hard, but he is now in the bag. The bag is floating, but he is within it.
Frank's like kind of floating up at like 3 inches off the ground.
Looks like the old
holding
man
the
from Up.
bag. It's like, oh, yeah. He's like, call me Carl. Oh.
It is your round. What do you do?
We cut to D, who is eating another Italian ice from that same guy that we harassed before, and she's just complaining about Dennis and then complaining about the Italian ice. He's like, "Please, why don't you leave my business alone?"
Frank's going to attack one of the minions with a weapon that is, I want to say, the toe knife.
Wow, look at Kitty.
Frank has the toe knife with him, and he's gonna try and stab one of the minions with it.
Great, go for it. Give me a d20 roll. Let's
do it. 15.
Frank, what does it look like shivving one of the minions to death?
One of the minions, Frank just goes to like a classic stab them in the heart, and then they see right as it's approaching their heart and face and person that this is in fact a toe knife, which is a legendary weapon in this realm that is super poisonous, very infectious, and they get a huge look of fear that stuns them as they see it coming towards them, and it stabs them, and they are dead.
Why? Great, Dennis. Let's see. The beholder's in a bag. There are 2 minions remaining. And the third that Frank just killed.
I think Frank's performing a distraction here, whether he knows it or not. The beholder's like almost weightless, right? Because he's like floating in the bag. And I
Pretty
just
much
grab the bag and book it.
Yeah, go ahead and make a dex check for me. And that is to basically book it out of the hideout with a beholder in a bag.
Mm-hmm. All right. I will plead to no god. All right. Well, I got a 11.
So you come crashing out of the main room, boom, like hit the wall, down the stairs. Thud, 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 thud. You do come to the doors, however, as the two guards who were at the door and were just like, is that is that our boss
It's
in the
the
bag?
same bag. I remember we had a bag when they came in, even though they didn't see me.
Frank casts Frenzy. 3 nearby creatures erupt into a frenzy of violence for 10 minutes.
We will specifically word that to up to 3. But one of the minions, well, both of their eyes go wide. One looks at the other and like, she was my wife. Just lunges. And immediately proceed to start kicking the shit out of each other right there in the doorway, allowing the two of you to run off down the streets of Philadelphia and back to Paddy's, presumably where D is.
No, she's still like cut back to the Italian ice stand, and she's still there. Just the guy's
loading
left.
up on Italian
She's-
ices.
She's just like complaining. He's long gone. He's in the background tying a noose to hang himself.
What color is your mouth at this point? Like
Oh, it's just pitch black. It's disgusting.
from all
She
the
looks like-
flavors.
Her mouth has been ruined by chaw.
So I imagine we smash cut back to Paddy's, maybe into the basement, which has not been cleaned. Charlie's several mattresses are still around. There are a couple of very dangerous rats skittering about, probably still a giant spider in the corner making its web. But there is now a lock, an ornate lock, a cool sword, and a beholder in a bag. So as we cut to all of you like standing around the dungeon, what's our final shot?
Frank has taken the beholder to the final room in the dungeon and is casting spells around it so that it cannot escape.
This is bullshit. I am an interdimensional crime lord. All of these eyes do spells. They're just not working right now. It's filthy down here. It's really distracting.
It's really
Frank
funny that
says,
the minute that we put him in a bag, we stopped calling him by his name. The beholder. We've stolen not only him, but
his non-humanity, his bestiality. Well, not bestiality.
listen, let's not shame
not
people
above
who
it.
are into bestiality. Okay?
I don't think I was
There's nothing
shaming, I
wrong
just-
with it. A little clean hentai bestiality fun. Okay.
I don't think I was shaming it as much as not talking about it on Twitch. But
Well,
different
that's
strokes.
the same thing. That's the same thing. So
D
Frank's
walks
casting
into the.
spells.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, you go.
I thought you were done, so I was just gonna say D walks into the dungeon, looks abruptly, vomits a vile stream of black Italian ice over everything, just over everyone, over all the mattresses, over Charlie, over Dennis, over Frank, and it gets in all the beholder's eyes. The beholder's like, oh, all my eyes. It gets on Mac too. He's apparently there. He's a character, I guess. It's out and everything.
Dennis is trying to like kick the lock into like a corner or somewhere where they won't find it. like while D paints the walls. He pulls a full Rolling Stones, painting it black. I'm kicking the lock into a corner.
And that is where we cut to black, and that is our first Always Sunny in Philadelphia session. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll be back next Thursday with the second episode of this campaign. Hey, Carolyn Page, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Jacuzzi Tubs with 2 B's on all social media platforms, including now TikTok. Very fun. And you can watch me streaming a competitive Fuck, Marry, Kill game show on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific on the U Jokes YouTube channel. That's at U Jokes with a U, the letter U, and then Jokes. Check it out.
Tony Wilson, where can we find you on the internet?
You can't, but I dare you to try. I don't know. Twitter, Helpful Tony, Instagram, Friends of the Museum, wherever. Just around. I'm hanging.
Heck yeah. Eli Uden, where are you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, just my name, Eli Uden, ELIYUDIN. You can find me here on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch, at pig_dog. And you can listen to my podcast with my friends Paddy Mo and Kath Barbadoro called What a Time to Be Alive. It comes out every Monday.
Hell yeah. I'm on Twitch at Goblin Voice, and that's it now, which is nice. So that's it for this week. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Remember to thank you for everyone who subscribed.
Yes.
Hey, if this is your first time hanging out, maybe hit the follow button. Maybe consider giving us your Bezos bucks. We'd definitely appreciate it, and that helps us keep doing the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely hit the subscribe button there. That one's free. And join our Discord. There's a link down below. We hang out there and we talk about role-playing games a lot, and it's a lot of fun. I think that's it. Am I missing anything?
Thank you to all the birthday wishes. It is my birthday tomorrow. Thank you very much. What I want for my birthday from all of you is for you to tell your friends about this great show. If you have anyone, or you're on Reddit or whatever, people who like D&D or TV or just hanging out with good times and friends, tell them about this show. That's what I want for my birthday. That's all. Thank you. Good night. I love you all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.